The Washington Wizards fell in the final preseason matchup to the Detroit Pistons, but it did not matter because Kyshawn George dominated both sides of the basketball, a star. But Bub Carrington went down with an injury. What happens if he's unable to come back? We break it all down here on Locked On Wizards.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
DC family, you are locked on to the Washington Wizards. We're your part of our family. We thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every single day. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. Alongside DC Sports content creating Savannah Abdullah Ayubi, I'm Ben Strober, and I cover all things DC Sports for 106.7 The Fan and the Team 980. If you're not a subscriber and a everyday listener, join the DC family. We just had a blast in the Wizards Pistons watch party. Shout out to everybody that stuck with us for over 2 hours and 15 minutes in the live stream. We watched and gave you every detail of Wizards Pistons. And now we're going to give you every detail of what happened tonight. AB, how about Kyshawn George? It's good to see our guy cook up.
3 Sean, Ben. Overall, great fight by the guys early on in the game and in the third quarter. Fourth quarter got away, but preseason basketball is over. Now it's all about basketball that matters.
Absolutely. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. Let's get into it. All right, so Bub Carrington, he left the game early with knee soreness. He came back and was on the bench cracking jokes with his teammates. So hopefully we're wishing the best for Bub Carrington, because it would not be ideal to see him miss time. And things did not start off well for this Wizards team offensively. They struggled. Detroit was physical. They overmatched us in every facet of the game early on. And offensively, they couldn't get anything going. That wasn't until about halfway through the second quarter, through the third quarter, Kyshawn George, he started to take over in this game. When his shot is on, he is one of the best players on the floor, no matter who is out there. One, because of what he does defensively, but tonight offensively, man, he was incredible. I'm going to say what I have to say about his offense before we get into his defense, but AB, so impressed with Kyshawn George tonight, because he said in the preseason one thing that he wanted to make clear is that there would be less possessions where he didn't feel his presence on the floor. He used that shoulder to create separation in this one tonight. He looked so comfortable with the basketball in his hands, creating his own shot, and the efficiency speaks for itself. 8 of 11 from the field, 20 points and 6 rebounds, added 2 stocks as well. But offensively, man, he is a special player when he gets it going.
Yeah, 3 Sean tonight. He was on one. And like you mentioned, his ability to create separation off that bump in the mid-range area is truly special, Ben. And he himself being a great two-way player, defensively, he was there. I can't wait to see how he matches up against Giannis Antetokounmpo when we play the Milwaukee Bucks, because that is a matchup that I want to see. And he was also guarding Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham, in my opinion, is going to be an MVP candidate this upcoming year. Yeah. I just can't – I legit, when it comes to his capability, like, the sky's the limit for this kid, Ben. Like, he truly is special. And you mentioned how he played point guard in college, and he just has the high IQ. He checks off all these boxes. It's just now, can you go out there? Obviously, you want him to stay healthy. Cross your fingers. But when he goes out there, he will produce for this team. And, I mean, it's insane to think about, Ben, that this guy was the last draft pick in that first of the 3 of him, Sar, and Bub.
Yeah. I loved what he did defensively today, because not only was he just guarding Cade Cunningham, but he had Cade Cunningham in a tough spot offensively. Kyshawn George is in unbelievable shape. His conditioning really sticks out to me, because he was out there picking him up beyond half court every single time, forcing Cade to pick up his dribble and get them out of sorts offensively. And yeah, they struggled at times defensively. They didn't defend the 3-ball very well tonight. They were slow on some rotations and plenty of other things to get into tonight, including some struggles from Trey Johnson as well. But you just got to be thrilled with what Kyshawn George has been able to do, because that first game, we said it the entire time, you're like, man, Kyshawn George, if he could get it to go down offensively, the way he wasn't able to do so in the first game, imagine the performance we'd be talking about, because in the first preseason game, he had 4 blocks and a steal in really pretty limited playing time and was easily and undeniably impactful defender. Today, he was a super impactful defender, not because of the numbers. This is why you truly got to watch and see what's happening out there, because just 2 stocks in this game, it doesn't jump off the page. Maybe he did the other day when he had 4 blocks and a steal to add to his name. But he was out there making it difficult on Cade Cunningham on every single possession, and his comfortability with the basketball in his hands. If Bub Carrington is out for an extended time, we really hope that is not the case. There might be a window of opportunity to see Kyshawn get some opportunities, not necessarily running the point every time, because it kind of fluctuated between him and CJ McCollum for a lot of that. That was the thing I was the most curious about. Who's going to run the point if Bub is out? And I know Bub had his struggles in the first game, bounced back in the second game, albeit not really against anyone that's going to play significant minutes for the Knicks this year. But that is a big, big deal, because you saw how much better they looked offensively today when Kyshawn was able to get his opportunities with the basketball in his hands and try to create for himself and others. I think offensively, through that probably 15 or so minute stretch of this game, they really picked things up offensively, and they looked a lot more fluid than they did early on in the game.
They were playing team basketball, Ben. That's what we wanted to see after the first quarter. It was too much iso ball and just turnover after turnover. When this Wizards team plays iso ball, guys are open in the three-point arc in the corner and the wing, and they make those threes. And you find Alex Sarr lobs, and Alex Sarr was aggressive early on. That's what we love to see. Aggressive Alex Sarr. It's coming year 2, Ben. The NBA isn't ready for him, man.
Yeah, and there's at times tonight, like just the matchup with Durant. It's just, my God, he is a physical specimen. He's a freak out there. And look, Detroit's going to be a really good team this year. They could win 50 games this season. Legitimately, the Pistons are like that. I said it earlier today. I said it so many times in the stream. If the Pistons could get out of the basement where they were, that should give you hope for the Wizards fans, because it was only 2 years ago where we had Kuzma make the comments saying, don't be that team. And, we ended up being that team. So it's funny how it works out sometimes. They look at the where the Pistons are right now, and they worked us for sure tonight. Eventually, the final score looked a lot uglier than it was through the first 3 quarters of the game, because the Wizards were damn competitive, really, after the second and third quarter of this game. And the Pistons end up winning 119-198. And really the bottom line is the Wizards were just god-awful shooting the ball from beyond the arc tonight. 8 of 33 from three-point land. McCollum had 4 of those threes. He did his thing tonight. Chris Middleton struggled a little bit as well. But we continue to harp on the impact Kyshawn George can have on this team. And tonight was really just the idea of where you see him scratch the surface, because he didn't do this against some scrubs. He did this against a physical Detroit team that was playing its starters out there tonight.
Yeah, and I was saying, Ben, that everyone was discrediting the New York game because, again, you're not playing Karl-Anthony Towns, Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, your core players. But this game, the Pistons were playing their starters, and Kyshawn George is out there saying, I'll ball out against any team out there. And he went out there and really impressed a lot of people. I really think this offseason a lot of people are put attention to Kyshawn George, but you have to buy stock now before it's too late.
Yeah, and now that we had some opportunities to see him get some reps at the point tonight, he was the point guard at Miami. This dude knows how to play point guard. He can play point guard, and I think he's going to be successful at it if Bub does miss any time. You hope that's not the case. I'm glad to see that he was in good spirits, because it didn't look good initially. He had to get helped off by multiple teammates, and he's struggling to walk under his own power, but he came back to the bench and seemed to be in good spirits. So good stuff there.
Ben, CK 12 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. I know we talk about him being a potential trade candidate, but he was balling out there tonight.
Yeah, Corey Kispert I will give a ton of credit to tonight, because he helped them get back in this game for sure. He started off a little bit slow, but the whole offensive side of the ball was really slow. They weren't playing team basketball the first 15 minutes of this game, and things really started to turn up. Kispert was a big reason why for that. And we had some people in our chat saying they should be showcasing him as much as possible. Detroit needs a shooter. The Wizards should trade Kispert to Detroit at some point. I mean, who knows what's going to happen, but you really like to see Kispert play some meaningful minutes for this team. So down the road, if that is a possibility, if this organization does want to move on from him and trade him for something, maybe you do get something nice in return for Corey Kispert. But he definitely had a nice performance offensively today. I was very satisfied to see the way he was able to impact the game. And, more than just being a three-point shooter, he ran very well in transition when they got opportunities, one play in specific. When Kyshawn got the block and Kispert ran in transition, it was a great pass from George to get it up to him on the outlet pass, and a good finish as well. Kispert, solid night for him. Solid also offensively. Really, Alex Sarr. He maybe at times got a little bit worked on the defensive side of the basketball. Tough matchup tonight with a very physical Detroit team. Duran is just such a beast. He had 20 points and 6 boards. But Alex Sarr tonight did have 9 rebounds, really only playing in 23 minutes. So he's gotten above his season average in rebounds in the 2 games that we've seen him play in the Summer League game. So you hope to see that be a point of emphasis for him this year, that he's going to continuously work on his offensive game, work on getting himself in better position to rebound the ball better. Because if you could get him to, average double figures as a rebounder this year, that'd be a big step forward for him here in year number 2, AB.
I agree. I think also the shot selection, man, that's what we want to see improve, and I think it will. I think him taking more shots inside the arc, inside the paint, potentially, is what will make him take that next step in his game and being that, hopefully, double-double machine. We saw Jalen Duren. We want Alex Sarr to be like that, but more gifted offensively. Defensively, I think the kid's only going to get better. And when you have a guy like him that can protect the rim, Kyshawn George being a great two-way player, Bilal Coulibaly coming back from injury, the athleticism from Cam Whitmore, this team's going to play fast, and I'm hoping to see that come early on in the season.
Yeah, and so Sarr was physical, and people are probably going to look and see the box score and say that his offensive stats don't necessarily reflect that, because he was 2 of 8. The shot diet wasn't great for him tonight. He took 3 3-pointers, and 2 of them I don't think were very good shots, to be honest. But he got to the line 3 separate times and made all 6 of his free throws. So you see the physicality of him trying to get himself in position to get to the line, and then of course he also beat the buzzer. In the second quarter, he had a nice pass that was delivered down low to him, and he quickly turned around in one swift motion, made a little floater. So it was good to see that. One thing tonight, Abdullah, and we'll take a break when we come back after this, that we saw is that Trey Johnson had his fair share of struggles tonight, but he did find other ways to contribute to this game. It wasn't the best night for him offensively, so we'll break down the former number 6 overall pick's performance when we come back. The holidays are going to be here before you know it, which is exciting, but getting your home ready for guests and celebrations can feel like a lot. Maybe your serveware needs a refresh, or the guest room could use new bedding. Wayfair has everything you need to get your home holiday ready, from Christmas trees and wreaths to bedding, cookware, and outdoor inflatables. It's your one-stop shop for every room in the house. Wayfair makes it easy to personalize your home for the holidays with a huge selection of style and budget, and with free and easy delivery, even on the big stuff. You can get everything you need without the hassle of huge delivery fees. I recently ordered some new holiday decor from Wayfair, and it completely transformed my living room. The wreaths and throw pillows instantly made the space feel warm and festive. And now, instead of stressing about getting the house ready, you can actually enjoy the holiday with your friends and family. Get organized, refreshed, and ready for the holidays for way less. Head to Wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. Real quick before we get into Trey John, you guys afraid that we're going to win too many games, but not enough games to make the playoffs, but just enough games to get us out of the top 8 spot? I don't think so. I think this organization is very committed to the spot that they want to be in at this point, where they would like to ideally pick in the lottery again, keep that top 8 protected pick, and have a chance to get another talented player to add in this class with, however development goes this year. This year is all about development, as we know, and you saw some encouraging things tonight. And unfortunately, wasn't the best night for our guy Trey Johnson, who I think, if we had to grade him, maybe we'll do a grade video at some point the next week before the regular season finally tips off next Wednesday, where the Wizards visit the Bucks in Milwaukee. Trey Johnson struggled offensively in this game, never really got it going. He only took 1 shot in the second half. He ended up finishing 1 for 8. The only shot he made was a nice little floater he had under the basket. But I just kind of wanted to get into his struggles today, because he did find other ways to fill the stat sheet. He had 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and then also added 2 stocks as well. He hustled out there defensively. I give him a lot of credit, because he didn't dwindle in his confidence as the game went on. But a big reason why is because Bub Carrington goes down, and then if you don't have CJ McCollum out there or Kyshawn George to run the point in those situations, how are you going to have Trey Johnson get the basketball. You need to find ways to actually get him good opportunities. He was kind of trying to create for himself a lot today, which I give him credit for, because you like to see him working on that aspect of his game, something that was considered a weakness for him when he came out of Texas. But ideally, you want to see a playmaker on this team, somebody that can help him get open looks at the basket, and that just wasn't really the case tonight for him. I'm not worried about it. It's going to be growing pains for him, as you know, he's a rookie, and the situation where you don't have a lot of talent necessarily around you. So it's just kind of how it goes, AB.
Yeah, like you mentioned, it wasn't the best night for our 6th overall pick. But Ben, one thing that you mentioned was shot wasn't falling. He only took one shot in the second half, but he also contributed with those 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 stocks. For him, you don't want him to have a young guy to have his confidence dwindle, because he's a guy who can get it on. We know he can drop 20 to 25 points a game any night, and we expect him to be that scorer on this team. It's just, can you create your own shot? And I think he can. He's still getting adjusted in the NBA. He's so freaking young. What he did last year at Texas, he was, 19 years old? I mean, the sky's the limit for this kid. And with, hopefully, Bub Carrington is going to be fine for next week. But if, knocking on wood, he does miss a game or the first couple of games stretch, how does that change the role for Trey? Does he take advantage of his opportunities and shows the organization, like, I expect a good amount of minutes? I shouldn't be just a 6-man. I should be cracking the starting lineup. We'll just have to see. But Ben, one thing that I love about Trey Johnson is that, like, his effort. I think that's one thing that we want to see from young guys. It's like a lot of young guys, especially since it's like you're just getting into the league. It's like, I want to go out there and just put the ball in the hoop. I don't really care about doing anything else. We've seen that because they're so young. The maturity level is not there yet compared to the other vets on the team. However, when it comes to Trey, it's like, I know my shot's not falling, but I still want to contribute in some way. So things like that adds up, and you'll see why he was the 6th overall pick for a reason.
Yeah, I think you're going to see nights, even early on maybe, because this is going to be the interesting part if Bub is unable to play. The starting lineup was Bub, CJ, Chris, Kyshawn, and Sar. You probably expected that to be the lineup next Wednesday on opening night. But obviously Bub goes down. We're unsure of his status, hoping the best for him. Trey Johnson was the first guy off the bench when Bub was hurt. And in the second half, they ran out that same exact lineup with Trey Johnson in place of Bub Carrington. And they had CJ McCollum and Kyshawn George kind of trading off reps at the one, McCollum getting the brunt of it. I think I'd rather have Kyshawn get opportunities at the point than CJ. But I don't know, because I feel like this Wizards team should utilize CJ's ability at the 2 to play at his natural position, because ultimately you want this to be a guy that shows out for the first half of the season, so you're able to get a first-round pick and return for him if you keep him healthy. And if he spends too much time, maybe worrying about having to play make for others or, play in this kind of combo guard role where he's getting a lot of the reps at the point, it didn't always look super smooth for him, but that's not like naturally what you see out of him. And Kyshawn, I think, looked comfortable playing at the point tonight. It's this preseason game, a smaller sample size. But if that's the case where Bub is out for, some sort of extended period of time, or if he's out for any games period, it's going to be interesting to see what they do going forward. But if I had to give my 2 cents, I think I'd like to see Kyshawn get the majority of the reps at the point. I don't know. What about you?
Yeah, I would. Like you mentioned, you brought up some good points. It would be nice to see Kyshawn because, again, you want to make sure that you're maximizing usage with CJ at the 2. And Kyshawn, I mean, he can play 1 through 4, can guard 1 through 4. And let's see what you got, especially if, you can slide Cam, Chris at the 3 to 4. You can switch that up because the surplus of wings that you have. So you want to use that to your advantage. And I think whatever position and whatever role you give Kyshawn, Ben, he's going to go out there and just maximize it and exceed expectations.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. He's just going to be one of those guys, I think, consistently that's going to give you something every night, whether it's just on the defensive side of the ball like it was in the first preseason game or on both sides like it's been the past 2 nights. I think you're going to see more nights where it's both. And maybe it's not going to be as incredible as it was tonight every single night because he put up 11 shots and made 8 of them. He got it going on some really tough shots where he created separation. That's the biggest thing that I like to see from him going forward is his ability to create his own shot in the mid-range game because he's got the length to his game as well. He's comfortable with the basketball in his hands as well. Maybe you see him operate out of the pick and roll and either, you're almost going to see like a flashback where you see John Wall taking these mid-range shots, but it's going to look a little bit different with Kyshawn George coming off a screen. And also he has the ability to find Alex Sarr rolling to the basket or Marvin Bagley rolling to the basket, because Bagley just seems like a guy every time he gets it in the paint, it goes up. I was saying that every single time, and I think that was a constant theme for him. But you need playmakers on this team. You need somebody that you can rely on to get the basketball to your Trey Johnson, to your Alex Sarr, to your Bilal Coulibaly when he comes back. Whoever's out there offensively, somebody's got to be out there making the plays. If Bub goes down, you have to have the next man up opportunity. This is all about development this year. And if you don't have anybody that can handle the ball, it makes it tough. And I feel like there were at times, especially in that fourth quarter, where the Wizards really just didn't have a ball handler out there. And that's ultimately why Detroit was able to dominate the way they did defensively, push the ball in transition. It made it tough. And yeah, A.J. Johnson's been injured as well, so that's another thing that's of note. You maybe see him get some reps at the one as well, because you probably expected him to get some PG reps off the bench. But if he's out as well, this looks like an opportunity for Kyshawn George. I
big
like
guard, Ben. Big guard movement.
I like CJ at the 2, and I want to see Kyshawn play the 1. I think that's really what my biggest takeaway is for tonight, honestly.
And I saw some fans saying, why not throw Will Riley at the 1, because he has good playmaking skills. So it's going to be a plethora of options at the 1 that we'll just have to see if Bub can't do the job or if he's out with an injury.
Will Riley definitely showed some things in this preseason. Today wasn't as great as yesterday was, obviously, but I think it's still way too early to give him any significant reps at the 1. I think he's still going to be a go-go guy for sure, but I'm very impressed with what he was able to do this postseason. When we come back, we'll give you some of our final thoughts from tonight and what we expect going forward here on Locked On Wizards. Stick with us. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you do not want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets. That's right, pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using FanDuel because it gives me so many ways to play. I've built parlays, tried player props, and even followed the live lines during the games. It makes watching football even more exciting when you've got a little something riding on the action. Whether you're a casual fan or you love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Man, the preseason is over, man. It's time for real basketball. I can't believe it's like finally here. It almost feels surreal right now that we're getting to that point here where we're about to have regular season basketball starting. So it's been a long off season, AB, but through 3 preseason games, what else has really stuck out to you, AB, to put you on the spot, but something maybe we haven't even gone into tonight?
I think just playing fast, man. I want to we saw that in the Knicks game, and I'm hoping to see that more come when the Wizards face off against Milwaukee, because we understand that this team's going to give up a lot of points. Let's be realistic. We're going to probably get killed off the glass, offensive rebound, second chance points. It's going to be a recurring theme this upcoming year. But can you outscore teams? Can you go out there and say, hey, let's get a rebound, let's push it? Alex Sarr, Kyshawn George down the lane, Bilal Coulibaly, hopefully when he comes back, JC, a lot of these guys that are fully athletic. We have some athletic dudes on this team that can run. That's the theme that I want to see if they what is our identity? I think that's going to be our identity, Ben. Every team has an identity. I think that's for the district, and I'm hoping that early on Trey Johnson, we're going to see him. Obviously, those today wasn't the best offensive performance, but he's going to bounce back, and I think there's going to be games where he's dropping 15 to 20 points per game. But what I'm hoping to get from the young guys, Ben, is just, can you go out there and just make it a competitive game? I mean, we saw in this Detroit game, they're out of it early, but they came back, took the lead only up by 1 point, but then eventually, preseason, a lot of the key guys went out, and it's just, can you be competitive? That's the key thing. We're always going to be using the words top 8 protected because that's the big cloud over this season, but are you competitive in every game? And why should DC be respected when it comes to an organization? Absolutely.
And I'll put a clarifying note, because maybe if you didn't get a chance to watch this game or haven't even looked at a box score, if you are listening to this first because you're an everydayer of Locked On Wizards, we appreciate you. But you wouldn't even know that Cam Whitmore did not play tonight. He has a slight ankle injury that he sustained in that New York Knicks game. But Josh Robbins did report that if it were a regular season game, he would be playing. So nothing to fret or worry about right there. But that honestly bummed me out. I was super excited to see Cam Whitmore get some more opportunities because he looked pretty good through those first 2 preseason games. I wanted to see him assert himself even more, but now we're going to have to wait for the real regular season minutes to see some more Cam Whitmore.
Also, I'm sorry, Ben. 3 preseason games is just not enough. I think we should have got 4 at least.
Yeah, our preseason schedule sucks. It sucked so bad. We play 3 games in 5 days.
Yeah, it is what it is. You had a tough stretch early on, like you mentioned, Milwaukee, Charlotte. Cooper Flagg versus Trey Johnson, that's going to be a funny. Cooper Flagg, I think the Dallas Mavericks have him running point, Ben.
Yeah, Cooper Flagg looks insane. But like everybody knew that that was going to be the case for the most part. Yeah, this is a good comment, right? Having Kyshawn and Bilal on the floor at the same time when he comes back. Yeah,
with Alex Sarr
hours.
protecting the rim too, Ben?
Yeah, scary hours for offensive players out there. That'll be interesting to see when that eventually does happen. You get Bilal back a week or so into the season. So it's going to be interesting to see how the rotation fluctuates. I mean, it's all kind of going to be dependent on what happens here with Bub Carrington. The way it looked, based he was on the bench, you're hopeful that it's nothing serious, but I'm never going to speculate anything about an injury. I never want to put any kind of prediction out there until I get the reporting that says what's actually good with him. So hoping for the best, and I hope that him being on the bench toward the end of the game is a positive sign, but we don't know anything for sure until we get a report, obviously. So I'm sure that'll be a question asked very early on in the presser, which is probably happening right now.
Yeah, Bub Carrington, hopefully, we don't want to speculate. Reports are going to come out soon.
Yeah, if anybody sees the report already while we're still in here for the next couple
of months. Literally midstream, I was telling Ben, I saw Cam Whitmore wearing street clothes. I don't think he's playing. And they were like, oh, shoot.
Yeah, because it wasn't reported before the game. It was just you caught it on the TV. I didn't even notice when it happened at the time. It was when Bub Carrington was actually being helped off, and I was like, what? Because he hadn't come in yet, and I was like, it's kind of weird. Like, why haven't we seen Whitmore check into the game yet? And it's just it's kind of just how it goes. But overall, I'd say I'm relatively happy about the way this preseason went. I think at times they were competitive when they really played team-style basketball. I think it showed what kind of potential they have to at least be competitive in games this year. When they're able to go out and push and transition and run the way Coach Keefe wants them to and play good enough team defense to do so, they can definitely do some things offensively. They just got to get in system, and they got to have somebody make plays around the perimeter so you can get your ball down low to Alex Sarr. Pretty good preseason for him. I'm glad he showed some more physicality down low. He rebounded better. But Kyshawn George, the main thing that has excited me the most about this preseason, it wasn't even a good performance for him offensively in the first game where he went 3 of 14, but boy, he settled in a big way for this team, and who knows, he might be getting reps at the 1 as we move forward here, depending on what happens with Bub.
Let me ask you this, Ben. Not a huge question right now, but do you think when it comes to the depth chart, is Corey Kispert above Justin Champagnie after tonight, or do you think they're really neck and neck?
It's probably just going to depend on the night. Like, Kispert's going to play plenty of minutes for this team. I think they like Kispert, and today was a big reason why. You could see what he's able to do out there. He provided them the spark that they needed to get back in this game. Corey Kispert's a good offensive player. You cannot take that away from him. He's continuously improved the abilities he has as more than just a three-point shooter, good slasher to the rim, got it done in transition as well. And yeah, like Noah brings up, he's great when he's going. When he gets hot, he's a dude that can really help you out on the offensive side of the basketball. Defensively, yeah, like he's got his problems on that side of the basketball, but there are going to be certain nights where you have to look for him as one of your older players on this team to get you going offensively. That's what he did tonight. So big shout out to Corey Kispert for his performance.
Yeah, again, he's a trade candidate. Everyone's talking about him being out, but if he's out there balling, I mean, it's going to be hard to not get him away from the court.
As long as you're balling, you are good with me. That'll do it for our preseason coverage here on Locked On Wizards. Once again, we thank everybody who's an everydayer of the Locked On Podcast Network. Subscribe to us. We're going to keep this coverage going. Live streams, watch parties for the games, post-game live streams, you name it. We're going to have all of that jazz for you as the season goes on. But shout out to everyone that was
shout out to all the streamers It's not easy. That's what I've learned today.
Streaming is harder than 9 to 5. Nah, for real. But, oh, yeah, special shout out to everybody that was in the live stream watch party with us tonight. A lot of fun. And if you're in Capital One Arena next Sunday for the season opener at home against the Charlotte Hornets, come and say what's up to us in section 107. Are you going to bring? Yeah, we're going to definitely be reading comments and reacting a lot, Jack. So appreciate you for putting that out there. We were doing that a lot in the watch party specifically. But, man, a lot of fun, especially when you guys, the fans, interact with us. That's definitely my favorite part of the whole thing. Let us know in the comments if you're still in the stream. Well, it's going to end in a moment here, but let us know in the comments of the YouTube video what has excited you the most about this preseason. What's your biggest concern? And what do you expect to see come opening night on Wednesday? We got a lot to get to. AB, any final thoughts for you?
Preseason is over. Regular season basketball is back. Wizards basketball. It's going to be a rough year. I don't want to sugarcoat it, but there's going to be a lot of glimpses of, hey, we got some good guys here in DC.
Hey, man, you're right. Let's do this thing. Everybody enjoy their weekend because the real thing starts next week, all on Wednesday. Washington in Milwaukee to get the season started. And Locked On Wizards is going to keep you covered for it all year round, 5 days a week. Shout out to everyone for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every single day. For my co-host Abdullah Ayubi, I'm Ben Strober, Wizards Nation. We're out. Talk to you next week.